Welcome to Daily Scripture, brought to you by Good Day in Yahweh Ministries with Spreaker Studio. I'm your host, Brother Greg. Our scripture today comes from the epistle, 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Paul is writing to Timothy in the chapter 1, is talking to him about his gifts. Now, whether the gift of God in Timothy was ordinary or extraordinary, though, I incline to the latter. He must stir up, otherwise it would decay. Now, the great hindrance of usefulness in the increase of our gifts is slavish fear. Paul therefore warns Timothy against this. God hath not given us the spirit of fear, and as we see in verse 7. Now in Matthew 25, verse 25, we see Jesus talking about the servant. And I said, I was afraid and went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo, there thou hast that is thine. It was through base fear that the evil servant in Matthew 25:25 buried his talent and did not trade with it. Now God has armed us against the spirit of fear. And by doing so, he's often bidding us, fear not the face of man, fear not the dangers you may meet with in the way of your duty. God has delivered us from the spirit of fear and has given us the spirit of power and of love and of a sound mind. The spirit of power or of courage and resolution to encounter difficulties and dangers. The spirit of love to God, which will carry us through the opposition we may meet with. Now, if you take a looking back at Jacob, how he made nothing of the hard service he was to endure for Rachel. The spirit of love to God will set us above the fear of man and all the hurt that a man can do us. The spirit of a sound mind, our quietness of mind and peaceable enjoyment of ourselves, for we are oftentimes discouraged in our way and worked by the creatures of our own fancy and imagination, which a sober, solid, thinking mind would obviate or go around and would easily answer. Finally, the Spirit of God gives to his ministers is not fearful, but a courageous spirit. It is a spirit of power, for they speak in his name, who has all power, both in heaven and in earth. And it is a spirit of love, for love to God and the souls of men must inflame ministers in all their service. And it is the spirit of a sound mind, for they speak the words of truth and soberness. Again, I'm good, Brother Greg, and this is Good Day in Yahweh Ministries, Daily Scripture, brought to you by that ministry in Spreaker Studio. Grace and peace to you. Remember, the weather report is always a good day in Yahweh, because God reigns and the sun shines. Until tomorrow, may be blessings with God.